Namaste. Well, time for another rant. People want an authority to tell them what to think, how to evaluate the world and situations in life, and what to do. This is the greatest question of life. What should I do now? You can't look to any outside authority. You can't follow a book or a philosophy or a religion or a political theory or any kind of external wisdom or teacher. You can't, because they can never prepare you for what's actually going to happen in life. Period. Yet, people still embrace these things, and they think that they're necessary. They're not. They're not at all. Because the greatest authority is actually within us. Our consciousness, intelligence, and mind. Our own senses tell us far more about the world and life and the way things are than any book or any philosophy ever can. What is a philosophy anyway? It's just a theory or a set of theories about the way it is. And I love to quote this little saying by Yogi Berra, the great New York Yankees catcher and coach. In theory, there's no difference between theory and practice. In practice, there is. So there is a difference between any theory and the actual practice. Why is that? Because to even be able to state a theory, you have to apply reductionism. What is that? It means narrowing down the scope, the field of inquiry, until language becomes sufficient to say something about it. Because language is notoriously inadequate for actually expressing the truth about life. The world is far too complicated. Life is far too complicated for that. So if you open up your senses and mind and confront life the way it actually is, no book, no theory, no philosophy, religion, etc. can explain it. It is inexplicable because the only thing that exists actually is Brahman. And Brahman is by definition inexplicable, cannot be understood, cannot be grasped by the mind or the intelligence. What to speak of language, which is only a symbolic way of encoding certain thoughts, a very limited range of thoughts, and transmitting them to others, which might be okay for practical things. Go over there and pick up that tool and then do this job. That's about all language is good for. Beyond that, it fails miserably. That's why in the previous video, we say you should read from the book of life. That means using your own consciousness, intelligence, and mind based on the inputs to your senses and your mind and your consciousness directly, without any book or authority or theory to tell you what it is and what you should do about it. That's a weakling's proposition. Someone who has decided, I'm too stupid, I'm too weak, I can't figure this out on my own, I have to rely on somebody else. Now, the problem with this is life demands immediate action. It doesn't wait. The river flows on, and you cannot step in the same river twice. the famous saying by, I think it's Pliny. You cannot step in the same river twice. Why? Because the river is always flowing. Time is always going by. By the time you think about it, by the time you consult some authority, the situation has changed. And in many cases, it's far too late to do anything about it. So you wind up reacting based on a past that no longer exists, because there is only the present, and the present is constantly changing, and anything can happen. That is one of the laws of change. The I Ching, for example, is called the Book of Changes. 64 hexagrams describing every possible combination of yin and yang in the 6 chakras that are subject to change. The 7th chakra is not subject to change because it's pure consciousness. But the lower 6 chakras are. And so the rule is any hexagram can change into any other hexagram. Any situation, any set of circumstances can change into any other. There are no rules, no restrictions on how this change can occur. Although, yes, statistically, it is more likely for certain things to happen, following one another in a cause and effect sequence. Still, we can find instances when that's not what happens at all. These are called black swans. A black swan means an exceptional incident that doesn't follow any of our laws or theories. So life is full of black swans. In fact, in one view, life is only black swans. Everything that happens is extremely unlikely because it has never happened before. Every situation is unique and original. That's the great genius of the Creator. So no theory, no matter how good it is, no book, no matter how thick it is, no authority, no matter how wise they are, can advise you properly about what is the right understanding and what is the right thing to do. You have to figure it out for yourself. And we are trying for years now to give you the tools to do that. But look what happens. When I drop reading from the old books and go into reading from the Book of Life, we lost so many subscribers. So many viewers just stopped showing up. They expect us to read from the old books and give them the old sayings and the old solutions to the old problems, not today's problems, not the problems of right now, the present moment. Yes, there is some value in the old books. They kind of point you in the right direction. And if you follow them, if you actually understand them, you come to this same conclusion, that no book is an adequate guide to life, to existence, to reality. No authority can give you the right advice because of the built-in delay in time between asking the question and getting the answer. In that interval, no matter how small it is, things change. Elite athletes, musicians, martial artists, improvisational actors, and other performers, other great performers know this. And they don't think. I think the best expression of this was by this one musician who played an outstanding solo in a Snarky Puppy track, I don't know, 10 or 12 years ago. just one of the greatest jazz solos ever recorded. And someone was interviewing him and said, well, what do you think about when you're playing like that? And he says, nothing. I'm not thinking at all. Oh, when I practice, that's when I think. But when I'm actually performing, there's no time. So this is also echoed in, I was reading a 17th century samurai manual from ancient Japan. And they're saying, you have to settle all the important questions before you have to take action on them. That way, when things happen, you don't have to think. You just act. You just respond. So that is the value of the old books. That is the value of meditation and contemplation. That is the value of philosophical systems and views and ideas and theories and so on. That you settle the big questions in life, like what am I doing here? What is my aim? How do I intend to achieve it? And so on. And then when the time for action comes, you don't have to think about it. Well, let's see, boom. There is no time. You have to respond in a moment. In the last video, I described a dream or vision that I had. Very deep. And in that vision, in that dream, there's no time to think about it. There's no even way to consult a book or any other external authority. You are there, alone with the reality, and you have to deal with it. Just like at the time of death. Everyone dies alone. There is nobody to help you with the transition. You have to manage it. So to do that successfully, you have to understand what it is and have a plan. Nobody can help you with this. You have to figure this out for yourself. And when the time comes, deal with it. So life is a book. Life is an authority itself. Your own consciousness is the final authority. And in the end, you have to follow your own intelligence, your own consciousness, and your own wisdom. That's what I'm trying to teach you here. Om Tat Sat. Om Shakti Om. Om Namah Shivaya.